This video recaps some discussions had in my community where we explore my interactive lore and theorize about what some aspects of it might mean. We do so in attempts to save Earth from a demon invasion. Yes, demons like me. If you want to learn more about the topics discussed, then subscribe, as they are based on our prior videos. The Outsiders noticed that in our letter to Rirel, one of the bad demons, where we sent her on a mission to track down the fictional demon Steva Hin, we didn't take into account the potential for her to find and harm a human named Steven. The name was originally a joke about how it would be funny if there was a demon with a human name. Originally, I stated that I wasn't sure if they could sense the energy of other demons whilst they are pretending to be human. However, I've since realized how foolish I was, as it's more than likely that they can, as I constantly pick up all three demons when meditating to extend the range of that sense. We just need to hope that Rirel does know this and she doesn't go around attacking every Steven she finds. This issue has been expanded on more since this discussion, but not yet resolved. A longer discussion was had about Rirel's armor. The Outsiders noticed how she has some skin showing and significantly less plate than Castus are. Some theorized that she's leaving specific spots exposed in order to bait opponents into attacking where she can more easily parry or counter. However, this argument is countered by survivorship bias, stating that she may place armor where she gets hit, and so doesn't feel the need to place armor where she isn't. After this, they debate the effectiveness of a flashy armor that sacrifices function for appearance. The main example used is that of a king wearing fancy armor to boost the morale of his troops. However, I will add that it's very possible that Rirel wears this armor to show off her muscles and boost her own morale. She is Valkyrul after all, and shredded at that. While discussing how I might fare in a fight with other supernatural beings, I described how I think a single Valkyrul could destroy the entire planet. If I were to focus my energy on one point and have enough, I could probably use my horn laser to burrow into the core of the Earth and destroy it. The core is hot, but I think K'rul is a little hotter. I have always had issues with my voice while streaming, sometimes resulting in me needing to end streams early as I can no longer speak. However, this does not make much sense given Valkyrul have a significant healing factor. We wondered in the Discord if I have caught Trebelt, a demon sickness. The Outsiders mentioned that it's more than likely that humans can't catch this sickness. However, the question remains about how I caught it when I haven't had any direct contact with any of the mimics. It's possible that I had it before coming to Earth, or that the germs have lingered in this house, if they even have germs in the first place. Forgive me for not really knowing the science of what goes on in Rowan. We don't really have science. Well, it would make more sense if Jozef had it, causing problems even after death. The Outsiders asked why Valkyrul have not yet fixed the portal that I destroyed when coming to Earth. Some think that they have, potentially creating a portal that comes out elsewhere. If this is true, the Outsiders think that the Spymaster is using it to keep an eye on us, but then this begs another question: why would he do that? We had an in-depth discussion about how the royal family of the empire I was born in was overthrown so quickly and completely. The Outsiders informed me of human history, where they state the royal coups like this were more often perpetrated by other members of the same family. A younger sibling of the last Saurohin may have wanted the title for themselves. We tried to put ourselves in the shoes of whoever took over and ask ourselves how we would go about it, like paying off the guards and mapping out the interior of the castle. When I questioned if a vow could be smart enough to do this, the Outsiders pointed out how I have intelligence comparable to humanity, so it's not like it's biologically impossible. The Outsiders also pointed out how the vow have been building large structures, portals, and developing rune technology for longer than your universe has existed, so there's obviously some potential. In the same discussion, an outsider disclosed their anger at the creators for taking away the vow's ability to reproduce. They felt that this was a complete moral injustice. Another asked themselves if this was done in attempts to get the vow back in line, a means of exercising their control over the vow as they compromised their relationship with the creators. We then asked if it's possible if the creators wanted us to begin our crusade against reality and orchestrated some, if not all, of our origin and fall. This begs the question, why would they want to do this? Wef Northington has a theory that reads as follows. So in the latest video, we know that Sambi'el is the third generation of demons made by another demon who took the creator's soul. But why did the creators take their souls away in the first place, and is this why demons try to take souls? For one thing, we know that these types of demons are the strongest in the universe, and my guess is that the creators made them too strong and got worried they might try to overthrow them, which kind of makes sense given they go around taking over other worlds and making other weapons. But there is one question in mind. What is their main goal? To be the strongest or to take over the universe? But if they do succeed, then what? The discussion of soul manipulation led to the question about what that experience must be like, to have your soul ripped from your very being and stored in a weapon, before being warped and corrupted into the same beings that caused all of this. One outsider asked if Val remember anything about what they were before, to which another pointed out that I personally don't. But we decided not to rule out the possibility of some information lingering. We would just need to figure out how to access it, and this does make some sense after learning that when vows steal a language, they borrow more than just the knowledge of the words, but some aspects of the individual sacrificed. Wef also had a theory on this, reading, "In this recent video, he talks about how he does not know where his soul came from, but I feel like it came from a human. He is not filled with rage and is calmer than the other demons. He seems to like humanity. He likes it so much that instead of taking over humanity, he decides to help the humans. Almost like his soul came from a human. Yes, he is a huge fan of the creativity of humans, but he's a lot nicer and more caring than the rest of the demons." Wef had some further great theories that didn't fit into the prior topics and thus will be read here. The first is about the death of Jozef following my recreation in this video. It was very clear that I released this video for the sake of transparency, and I take any opinions that result from it. Sambi'el is in the wrong. In this recent video, we have an audio of Sambi'el and Jozef talking when they first entered the portal. Sambi'el confronts Jozef and asks if his plans result in the killing of humanity. Without a moment to think, Sambi'el kills Jozef before he can fully finish his sentence. If Sambi'el had waited, they might have been able to work something out and change up the plans. Not to mention, the last thing Jozef said was, of course, but. If he had let Jozef speak, he could have said that he had a workaround to not kill humanity, and maybe, just maybe, Jozef could have been the one to save humanity. He had the plan, he knew their weakness, he stalled Castor's R, he could have helped Sambi'el keep humanity alive, but Sambi'el could not hold back. I must confess that this does make me uncomfortable, but it's a very valid theory that I cannot easily dismiss, and thus I will not. His last theory was the result of my appearance on the Buns late night show with Bunny's Buns. This one might be a stretch, but what if the energy that Sambi'el runs off is creativity? From the late night talk show, we learned that Sambi'el thinks that creativity is the best thing about the human race, and he mentions this a lot. He mentions that creativity is so special for him and humans. But what if the reason why it's special is because he runs off creativity, and not to mention, when he goes berserk, he drains energy a lot faster because he is using his creativity/energy. That is probably where his energy comes from in the first place, and why he likes that humans are very creative. But a question is, how is he getting this energy? And that's it for now. If you want to get involved, then check out the playlist in the description and join the community to tell me about your theories and ideas.